Exhaustion has become the silent epidemic of our time, creeping into every corner of life. It's not just the long hours or the endless tasks that leave the body weary. Fatigue now runs deeper, hiding in the shadows of the mind, the weight of unprocessed emotions, and the quiet depletion of the spirit. Many push through each day unaware that their energy is leaking not from effort alone, but from imbalance, distraction, and unseen internal conflicts. The same strength that once carried ancient warriors through battles and relentless training now slips away in modern life, unnoticed yet relentless. Musashi, the legendary swordsman, understood this truth centuries ago. His mastery was never just about skill with the blade. It was about cultivating energy through discipline, awareness, and balance. Every movement, every choice, every breath was deliberate. Energy, he taught, is not a resource to burn blindly, but a current to channel, a force to nurture. In today's world, few realize that fatigue often signals not weakness, but misalignment, a body and mind asking for guidance, for rhythm, for harmony. And in this video, I will uncover the hidden layers of exhaustion, revealing why so many feel perpetually drained even after rest. Viewers will explore ancient wisdom from Shaolin teachings and Musashi's principles, learn how small shifts in awareness can preserve vitality, and discover techniques that recharge not just the body, but the mind and spirit. Lesser-known insights into energy management and personal mastery will be shared, offering clarity often missing in modern life. There is a quiet power in moving with the current rather than against it, a lesson the Shaolin masters have whispered for centuries. Energy is not meant to be wrestled into obedience. It is meant to flow, subtle and alive, through body and mind when they are aligned. The story of monks rising before dawn, not out of obligation, but in harmony with the rhythm of the day, their movements guided by an invisible pulse that dictated strength and stillness. Fatigue, he explains, often arises not from exertion itself, but from resisting these natural cycles, pushing when the body seeks rest, forcing thought when the mind demands clarity, acting with impatience when the moment calls for patience. The Shaolin understand that energy is like water. It bends, it moves, it adapts. When we fight the flow, fatigue manifests as tension, heaviness, and a persistent sense of depletion. Observing energy patterns becomes a practice of wisdom. I encourages noticing the subtle rises and falls of vitality throughout the day, moments when focus sharpens, when the body feels light, when stillness invites clarity. Instead of reacting with force, one learns to yield and act in accord with these rhythms, allowing energy to accumulate rather than scatter. Even in the simplest acts, walking, lifting, breathing, alignment matters. The Shaolin teach that the mind directs, the body follows, and the spirit harmonizes both. When these three move as one, energy circulates effortlessly like wind through a canyon, never blocked, never wasted. Reminds that fatigue often hides in the tension of resistance, in the insistence that life must bend to will rather than flow with its own pattern. Awareness, patience, and quiet observation reveal the hidden pathways of vitality, guiding each action with grace and precision. In surrendering to natural rhythm, the body learns to conserve strength, the mind learns to focus, and the spirit learns to soar, revealing that true energy is never forced, it is discovered. Breath is the quiet architect of energy, shaping the body, mind, and spirit in ways often unnoticed. In the temples of Shaolin, masters have long taught that qi, the life force, moves not only through posture and motion, but through the rhythm of inhalation and exhalation. A single shallow breath scatters vitality, leaving the body restless, the mind fragmented, and the spirit unsettled. Energy dwindles not only from physical exertion, but from the subtle currents of rushed, careless breathing. In contrast, a deep, mindful breath gathers strength, centering the body and anchoring the mind, creating a wellspring of vitality that flows steadily through every action. The monks move with calm precision, each breath measured, each pause intentional. They do not fight fatigue, they dissolve it, one breath at a time. There is a discipline in inhaling fully, holding briefly, then exhaling slowly, a cadence that mirrors the natural rhythm of life itself. In this rhythm, the scattered mind returns to focus, tension in the body releases, and clarity emerges from the stillness between breaths. Even in moments of chaos, this practice becomes an anchor, a reminder that inner mastery begins with simple awareness. A pattern often taught in these traditions is both simple and profound. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Each cycle draws energy inward, then circulates it outward, replenishing what was lost in the haste of the day. Attention remains on the breath, observing its depth, its flow, its subtle warmth. Over time, this practice transforms, not as a mechanical exercise, but as a gentle art of presence. Breath becomes the bridge between mind and body, a conduit for vitality, a quiet declaration that energy is not something to chase, but something to cultivate with patience, intention, and unwavering awareness. In the mastery of breath, the doorway to lasting vitality opens, and fatigue loses its grip. The body is not merely a vessel, it is the canvas upon which the mind and spirit leave their marks. Musashi, in his pursuit of mastery, understood that true control begins with the body. Every movement, every posture, every deliberate shift of weight is a conversation between strength and awareness, a reflection of the self within. Energy that remains stagnant in the muscles or joints does not simply fade, it accumulates, creating tension, restlessness, and subtle fatigue. In this way, physical stiffness is not merely soreness, it is a signal of trapped vitality, a reminder that the body and mind are out of alignment. In the Shaolin tradition, movement is meditation in motion. The monks rise, stretch, walk, and practice forms with attention that transforms ordinary action into a restorative art. Even the smallest movements, when performed mindfully, circulate energy through the body, loosening what has become rigid, awakening what has lain dormant, and reconnecting body and spirit. A brief stretch in the morning, a slow walk through the quiet halls of life, or the careful rotation of joints can release not only physical tension, but the mental burdens that accompany it. Musashi's philosophy teaches that mastery over the self is inseparable from mastery of the body. Each motion, when performed with awareness, cultivates discipline and strengthens inner vitality. Fatigue, often attributed to external effort, is frequently the result of neglecting this intimate connection. By moving intentionally, by listening to the signals of the body, the mind learns to settle, clarity emerges, and energy flows freely once more. In this harmony, every step, every stretch, every gesture becomes a subtle exercise in reclaiming strength. The body, when honored as a living extension of consciousness, restores not only its own power, but illuminates the path toward inner mastery, revealing that energy is never lost. It simply awaits mindful motion to awaken it. The mind, like a river, carries immense power when its current flows in a single clear direction. When scattered across multiple streams of thought, energy dissipates, leaving fatigue in its wake. Ancient masters understood that true strength is not found in doing more, but in doing fully. Multitasking may appear productive, yet it slowly erodes vitality, fracturing attention and scattering focus until even simple actions feel draining. Each unfinished thought, each divided intention becomes a subtle leak, siphoning energy that could otherwise be harnessed for clarity and purpose. In the quiet halls of meditation, monks train the mind to dwell in one point, to witness a single action fully and without distraction. This is not mere discipline, it is an art of energy preservation. To chop wood with complete awareness, to walk with deliberate attention, to breathe with total presence. These practices cultivate mental stamina while aligning the mind with the body. Focus becomes a conduit for energy, preventing the silent drain that arises from scattered attention. Over time, the habit of single-pointed awareness transforms the mind into a reservoir rather than a sieve, capable of sustaining effort and clarity without fatigue. The lessons extend beyond formal practice. Even in daily life, choosing one task, one intention, one thought at a time allows energy to flow naturally. When the mind is fully engaged, distractions lose their power, and the body responds with steady vitality. This principle, embedded in ancient traditions, reflects a deeper understanding. Energy is not only physical but mental, and how the mind is guided directly shapes the life force within. In cultivating focus, the mind becomes disciplined, the spirit strengthened, and the flow of energy preserved. Each moment of awareness becomes a small victory over exhaustion, a quiet reclamation of strength, and a step toward mastery over self and circumstance. In the quiet rhythm of daily life, there lies a power often overlooked, the strength of ritual. Musashi and the Shaolin monks understood that mastery is not forged in grand gestures or sudden bursts of effort, but in the repeated, intentional acts that shape each day. Rising with the first light, bowing into meditation, committing thoughts to a journal, these are not mere habits. They are anchors guiding energy, focus, and spirit along a steady course. Each ritual becomes a thread, weaving structure into the chaos of existence, and in that structure, vitality finds stability. Repetition, when performed with awareness, trains the mind as much as the body. Early rising, once a simple act, becomes a declaration of discipline, a moment where the self asserts control over chaos before the world begins its pull. Meditation, repeated daily, quiets the chatter of scattered thoughts, replenishing energy stolen by distraction. Journaling with consistent attention clarifies intention and preserves mental clarity, preventing the subtle erosion that indecision and uncertainty bring. These small acts accumulate, building a reservoir of stability that carries through the day. Rituals also shield the mind from decision fatigue, a silent thief of energy in modern life. Every choice, every hesitation draws upon the same pool of mental vitality, and when repeated decisions pile up, exhaustion quietly follows. By creating rituals, much is decided in advance, energy conserved for what truly matters. The ancient masters understood this intuitively. Discipline is not restriction, but liberation. It channels scattered energy into meaningful flow, transforming ordinary routines into exercises in mastery. In embracing daily rituals, the self learns patience, focus, and resilience, and the quiet rhythm of repetition becomes a source of enduring strength, a subtle yet profound path toward mastery over both mind and energy. Emotions are rivers of energy, powerful currents that shape the body and mind in ways often unnoticed. Anger, worry, and resentment flow quietly, yet their presence can sap vitality faster than physical exertion. In the silence of reflection, the Shaolin masters recognize that unobserved emotions accumulate like sediment, clouding clarity and weighing down both spirit and body. They do not teach to suppress or deny these currents, but to witness them, to see their movement without interference, and allow them to pass as naturally as clouds drifting across the sky. In the discipline of observation, the energy within emotions is no longer wasted in unconscious struggle. Each moment spent reacting automatically to anger or fear disperses strength. Each moment spent with awareness transforms it. A surge of frustration becomes a signal rather than a drain, a point to practice stillness and understanding. The practice is subtle: breathe, acknowledge, and release without judgment. Over time, this cultivates a mastery of self that transcends mere restraint. The mind becomes a clear mirror, reflecting emotion without becoming consumed, and the body responds with steadiness rather than tension. Ancient teachings remind that emotional mastery is inseparable from physical and mental vitality. A monk may walk, meditate, or train, yet if the heart harbors unresolved resentment, fatigue follows regardless of exertion. By observing emotion with calm attention, energy is preserved, clarity deepens, and the capacity for meaningful action expands. Life's challenges, once draining, become opportunities to practice balance and presence. In this quiet vigilance, the currents of the mind align with the rhythms of the body, and vitality, once threatened by the invisible weight of unobserved emotion, is restored. Mastery is not the absence of feeling, but the conscious stewardship of it, allowing energy to flow where it is needed most. In the quiet hours of night, the body and mind embark on a journey as vital as any training or meditation. Sleep, in the eyes of the ancients, is not a pause from life, but a sacred practice, a deliberate act of restoration and alignment. Shaolin masters regarded it as a time to renew ki, allowing energy to circulate freely, repair to unfold within the body, and the mind to settle into clarity. To treat sleep as luxury is to undervalue its power. It is through these cycles of rest that strength, focus, and resilience are quietly rebuilt. The wisdom of the temples emphasizes preparation. The hours before rest are sacred as well, not to be filled with overstimulation or hurried thoughts. The mind must be guided gently towards stillness. Meditation, mindful breathing, or simple reflection calms the currents of qi, releasing tension held in the body and softening the edges of thought. Even a few intentional breaths before sleep can signal to the body that it is time to surrender to restoration, allowing energy to flow inward and consolidate rather than scatter through restlessness. True vitality is cultivated in quality, not merely quantity. A long sleep of poor rhythm or distraction does not replenish the body as effectively as a shorter, deeply restorative cycle. Energy renews itself in patterns, rising and falling, building and releasing, reflecting natural rhythms rather than a count of hours. Awareness of these cycles and respect for them aligns the body with its inherent flow, transforming sleep from a passive act into a disciplined practice of self-mastery. In honoring rest, the mind sharpens, the body strengthens, and the spirit finds balance. Fatigue, once a constant companion, retreats as the night becomes a temple of renewal, and each awakening carries the quiet strength of energy restored with intention and reverence. Food is more than sustenance. It is energy, medicine, and a reflection of the mind that chooses it. In the Shaolin tradition, meals were approached with the same mindfulness as training or meditation, each bite acknowledged as a gift and a tool for vitality. Energy is not replenished merely by quantity, but by quality and intention. When food is consumed hastily, in excess, or without thought, it burdens the body, scatters the mind, and disrupts the natural flow of qi. The simplest ingredients, chosen with care, can nourish deeply and maintain strength throughout the day. The ancient masters teach that eating is an act of discipline as well as sustenance. Each meal becomes a practice of presence, chewing slowly, tasting fully, and acknowledging the life that fuels the body. Gratitude is not a formality, but a way to honor the energy within the food and the body it supports. Processed or overly rich foods may provide immediate pleasure, yet they often cloud clarity, weigh down the body, and disrupt the rhythm of energy. By contrast, simple, natural nourishment allows vitality to circulate freely, strengthens focus, and preserves mental and physical stamina. Even small adjustments, a mindful pause before eating, the choice of whole ingredients, moderation in portions, carry profound effects. Over time, these choices cultivate resilience and balance, turning ordinary meals into subtle exercises in mastery. The act of eating becomes a dialogue between body and spirit, a method of aligning internal energy with daily activity. Fatigue, tension, and mental fog begin to dissipate as nourishment is approached with intention rather than habit. In this way, diet is not merely a means to live, but a practice of awareness and energy stewardship, revealing that vitality is woven not only through action and rest, but through every mindful bite consumed. Amid the constant noise of modern life, the mind drifts endlessly, pulled by distractions that scatter attention and quietly drain energy. In contrast, the ancient masters knew the power of stillness, the profound clarity that emerges when the world is met not with reaction, but with quiet presence. Musashi, walking alone in forests or sitting in the stillness of dawn, cultivated strength not only through action, but through deliberate solitude. In these moments, energy was preserved, thoughts clarified, and the spirit aligned with the deeper currents of life. Silence is not emptiness, but a canvas upon which awareness can rest. Even brief periods of reflection, moments when the breath is noticed, the body softened, and the mind allowed to settle, restore energy in ways that frantic activity cannot. The body unwinds tension accumulated from movement, thought, and emotion, while the mind regains its natural focus and calm. In this practice, the simplest act of sitting quietly becomes a profound exercise in self-mastery, a method of reconnecting with the rhythms that sustain vitality. The discipline lies in consistency. A few minutes of stillness each day, repeated with intention, trains both body and mind to return to balance even amidst chaos. Modern distractions may scream for attention, yet the strength gained in silence allows discernment and energy to endure. In solitude, one observes the ebb and flow of thoughts without clinging, allowing clarity to emerge naturally. Fatigue, often born of mental overstimulation, begins to dissolve, replaced by a calm alertness that carries into every action. The masters teach that it is in these quiet interludes, between breaths, between movements, between moments, that true energy is renewed, and the self, when nurtured in stillness, grows ever resilient and alert, ready to move with purpose when the moment calls. Energy is not something to be demanded or forced. It is a living current that flows through body, mind, and spirit when approached with awareness and care. Through discipline, emotional mastery, mindful rest, and purposeful action, vitality can be cultivated steadily, like water filling a deep vessel. True strength emerges when life is lived in harmony with natural rhythms rather than in constant struggle against them. By beginning with small, intentional steps, perhaps a few mindful breaths, a moment of stillness, or a simple daily ritual, each principle can gradually take root, revealing its subtle yet lasting impact on energy and clarity. Over time, these practices transform fatigue into steady vigor, distraction into focus, and scattered energy into purposeful flow. May this guidance inspire calm reflection and thoughtful action, reminding that mastery of energy begins in the quiet moments of awareness and discipline. If this journey resonates with you, like this video and subscribe to Heng Chronicles, where timeless wisdom meets practical mastery, and allow each day to become an opportunity to reclaim your strength and presence.